Has there been a specific area of improvement or growth that you've seen from your team's game that makes you excited for what this team can potentially do this season?
Yeah, I think our defensive connection, our defensive attention, those things have. I talked a couple weeks ago about like we were learning a new language, and everybody's trying to learn this new language, and I think like we have taken steps where we've gone from level 1 of that language to level 2 of that language. Are we fluent yet? No, we're not fluent yet, but I think that just the understanding of kind of, hey, this is what we're trying to do, this is what we're trying to take away, this is how we execute those things. Some of those things are a broad picture of like we're always going to do these things. Some are game to game, right? Like you play Virginia Tech and it's like, hey, this is what we're trying to accomplish here in this game. Okay, you play Vanderbilt. Okay, this is what we're trying to accomplish against these guys. This is what we're trying to take away. Play South Florida. So the same, again, having that broad picture, but also having those in-game or specific game, like this is what we're trying to do, and them being locked into that stuff has definitely taken the jump. With an understanding of like this is what we're trying to do, learn our language, learn our movements, learning each other's movements too. I talked about that before. Like, you think about that on the offensive end. Well, they have to play with each other to kind of get to know each other's games a little bit. Well, it's the same on the defensive end, right? If we're supposed to be switching this action. If I can see Brandon Jennings is like really guarding that guy and he's getting over top of it, I don't need to switch that. Where early on we were just kind of robotic with like, well, I'm supposed to switch it. Oh, he was there, now that guy's open. And now we're starting to see some of that stuff. You can see them, I can see them, before the action happens, already kind of knowing like, all right, he's going to be here and I have to be here. And that improvement on the defensive side has been the biggest. And then the sharing of the ball and just being comfortable with each other on the offensive and trusting each other that, hey, I'm going to make this one more, knowing that the next time it's going to come back to me.
Terrence Hill Jr. has also had a really good season so far, specifically against Virginia Tech. He had a really money game.
Mm-hmm.
What have you seen from him so far this season and from his improvement from last season? Obviously, I know you weren't here, but what have you seen from Terrence Hill Jr. so far?
Yeah, I mean, he's a confident guy. He is a tremendous shooter. His shooting probably hurts the recognition of his overall game. One of our best plays in the Vanderbilt game was him making a great read for a pass for a three for Bam. He's a good passer. He can handle the ball, and he needs to shoot the ball when he's open. I've been telling him since the summer, like there's times he passes up shots. I'm like, you can't. No one wants you to pass up shots. The other team wants you to pass up shots. We don't. No one in our uniforms or our gym or our locker room wants you to pass up shots. So, he's a confident guy. He come in there, he can make baskets in a hurry. He's somebody that you have to game plan for, that you have to worry about, that you have to find. And with our other weapons, when you throw that out there, it's like, okay, well now, and especially with him coming off the bench and bringing that pop off the bench, it's like, all right, a lot of times he's going in there and the other team is a little bit tired, right? They're not as keen, they're waiting to sub. Or they're bringing in a sub that's not quite the level of defender or player that the starter is. So it's why I like having that pop off the bench, and he provides that, because now that other team is like a little bit weary, they're a little bit whatever, and now all of a sudden he's getting lost, and they're throwing their hands up, going like, how did he get that shot? And again, just a really good player, a super hard worker. It doesn't surprise any of us to see him shoot the ball like that or play that well. I mean, we've seen, 5 for 5 is great. We've seen days in that gym where he's really going off, and it's 5 for 5 is like just a small piece of it. So I expect, obviously he'll be guarded certain ways by certain teams, which will help open up the floor for other guys. But I would not be surprised to see more performances like that from him.
Michael Belle earning more trust, more minutes lately too, right? And can we expect more turnaround, fadeaway, baseline jumpers from him?
I sure hope not. I have to be the bad guy and tell him, well, like Lazar was open on the catch on the post with a guard on him, like let's throw that pass. But he just has to keep it simple, like do what he does and do those things well. And those things are defend. He brings that energy defensively. He can be disruptive on defense, which is what we want to be. He brings that. Be on the glass. crazy on the glass on both sides, and he's done a pretty good job of that, including at the end of that game, the free throw blockouts, and he's knocking balls out. Like, those are demoralizing plays, not just for the team you're playing, but the teams that are watching that down the line, that watch that and go like, man, like, we got to be careful, we got to worry about that, right? Like, we got to make sure we're keeping that guy off the glass. We got to, so it provides a different type of spark. And again, with his ability to guard different positions, we can play big with him, we can play small with him. That versatility is huge. So, as long as he keeps it simple and just does what, I tell them all the time, like, we don't need anybody to be anybody else, right? Like, just be the best version of you. So whether it's Terrence, like, hey, go be a great shot maker, take care of the ball, find the open guys, do those things. We don't need you to be Lazar, right? Like, you're not going to be 6'10" and be whatever. Like, so for Mike, it's like, go be the best Michael Belle that we can get, right? And that's defending, it's rebounding, it's deflections, it's offensive glass, it's getting into the lane, off 2 feet, finishing at the rim. Like, he's capable of doing all those things, and that's what we need, because we don't have another guy like that. Like, he brings something different than those other guys do.
Have you been kind of toying with those small ball lineups too, with him at the 5? Seems like we've seen a little bit more of that lately. Yeah,
it just depends on, again, like the matchups and things like that. And obviously Lazar's played well. Keyshawn's played well in his minutes here recently. Mike can play at that spot, and we can switch everything. So, there's going to be times that, again, I like the versatility. I like being able to say, all right, this is what we need right now, so let's go to this. Towards the end of Virginia Tech, like, we need to be a little bit smaller on that defensive end to kind of switch some things out. So we did it, right? We hadn't done it much, in those previous games, just because those teams were a little bit bigger and we needed some more size out there. We needed, Mike and a big out there with him so that we could rebound the ball. So I like options. I like having different options and knowing that, okay, if we get in a situation Friday night and we need to be bigger, we can be bigger. If we get into a situation Friday night and we need to be smaller, we can be smaller. And like I said to the staff, especially going into Friday, where you're just like, hey, we could do anything, right? Like, could we play 5 guards at some point in time? Yeah, we could play 5 guards at some point in time. If that's what's going to give us an advantage.
Interesting.